Hello everyone, welcome. Today is an different angle. But today we're going to talk about Dead Rising 3. So of course I'm incredibly saddened by it being a Xbox One exclusive. And even with Microsoft's backpedaling, it still has me concerned. Of course, there's one. They can always try to install new forms of software to counter backpedaling in the future. Or they can do what other people think they might do and just go one day, boom! DRM shit again. Which I don't think that. I think there's a more likelihood they will have a different system where they might have a better compromise, but still be detrimental to the consumer. I don't think they're going to go and just one day, boom, all the shit we just said on launch and backpedal, bam, it's there. Because the consumer outcry and shit would be just insane. There would probably be legitimate lawsuits possible. I mean, yes, they have in the terms of use subject to change, but hey, there's been times where people went to court about that shit, and it's like, yeah, it's kind of against wild rights. Yeah, you can't owe this guy millions of dollars. So it doesn't necessarily mean they can just go, oh, we're going to screw you. I mean, it helps them in their case, but it doesn't guarantee they're just automatically going to win if someone sued them for it. And I don't think that's probably going to be a case, but new ideal of it is a possibility in the future. But anyway, we're here to talk about Dead Rising 3. Dead Rising 3. So, I'm a big fan of Dead Rising. Aside from Case West, I have all of them, including Case Zero. I will probably actually be getting Case West soon, seeing that my hopes of a special Dead Rising 2 version that will have it on disc has never flourished in any region. So I will probably have to break down and just get the DLC, which does suck. Because, see, I was hoping there'd be a special version that has Case Zero, Dead Rising 2, and Case West on it. But that never came. I always talk about Dead Rising being the game that got me to buy a 360. It's so wondrous to think how the 360 has changed from an actual decent console to a piece of fucking shit. I can't tell you how weird it is when I launched my 360 offline and there's just all these blank squares of gray and black everywhere. Because they're all meant for advertisement. I fondly remember that original dashboard. How it was completely solely for fucking video games. The Xbox One, we always did the wage rant to that, So, skipping the fact that, obviously I'm disappointed about that. Let's actually get to the nitty-gritty. The game! So, what do I think of the game? What do I think of the game? Okay. To be honest, I think the game looks like crap compared to the standards of Dead Rising. And you might be like, why? The graphics are so realistic and detailed. That's why! I mean, why is, I don't understand this whole prospect that everything needs to be black, gray, brown, and realistic as fuck. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that doesn't work for certain things. That works great for apocalyptic world destruction and shit. And yeah, Dead Rising is apocalyptic, but the thing that made it a kind of a twisted, weird thing is it's colorful and flashy and weird. You can ride a tricycle and run over zombies as a grown man riding a tricycle with pink ribbons and a little bell. The game is meant to be absolutely sick, dark, and strange, and a colorful rainbow of death and okay. It's like, how could you take one of the, like, what's the term I'm looking for here? I use it a lot. It's like on the tip of my tongue. The artistic direction of it. That's not the term I want to use, but then don't have all day to go. It's like, the colorful, like, don't get me wrong, if everything was just colorful all the time, that would just be the same thing of just spamming the same thing. But Dead Rising started off as a weird apocalyptic game with lots of color, flash, and weirdness, and gore, and blood. In really weird ways. So far, I don't see any of that. I see dark, brown, gray, and tons of guns, explosions, and cars. Like, cars have been so... And there's a reason why they're like that in the Dead Rising series. Because if you have a car and you can travel with it to most places, then the whole subjective survival running for your life shit is pretty meaningless. That's why all the cars are, like, in Dead Rising 1, there was only one little outside area. Well, I mean, it's not super low, but I mean, it's its own enclosed area. You couldn't just simply suck the car into any part of the mall. It only could go into the park, in the underground, transport tunnels. That's it. Very limiting. Dead Rising 2, they opened just a slight bit to a few other locations that could get a car. Still, locked in certain sections and cannot just simply fly into every part of the fucking building. But Dead Rising 3 is basically saying that the cars are really important for survival and travel and that. It's like, yeah, all the weapons, screw those, get a car and just keep car hopping all the way. Doesn't sound very keeping to the Dead Rising formula. And, no color. So far, obviously they're gonna... I liked how Dead Rising 2's trailer thing. Moosehead, boom, boom, boom. And then they showed the violent 2-stick chainsaw thing. But, I'm not seeing the silly, strange shit. I'm just seeing what's the most thing. He took something and put a chainsaw on it. A sledgehammer. He took a chainsaw and put it on a sledgehammer and he's like, it's like, where's the weird shit? Where's the Blanca helmet that shoots lightning bolts out of it? I mean, the fuck? This is looking so... Now I really see, like, why everyone's like, it's Call of Duty! I mean, like, I never doing, like... Because I was so invested in hearing about the Xbox One shit and stuff, and all that drama and shit, I never really got to really... looking at the trailer of Dead Rising. I've seen only like small snips and pictures, and I hear all these people like, it's Call of Duty now. Now I can see what they're trying to say here. Wow, it's not solely Call of Duty. They're certainly strongly moving it into a very stereotypical Western ideal. And, I don't know what to really feel about that either. I mean, a lot of people say, well, Western games are usually brown, gray, blah, 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 blah. But, there's bazillions of indie games that are for America that ain't like that. It's like just the big AAA, AAA companies doing this shit. And, they say that's what sells. I don't know. Super Meat Boy seemed to sell pretty fucking well on the PC. That's a pretty colorful... It's colorful, weird. It actually goes through all kinds of things. Color, hell, red, grays, doom, damn, Rambos, 8-bit. It's like, Meat Boy actually has a really fucking bizarre, random choice of colors and different worlds and settings and sub-worlds and, But, I mean, if Dead Rising 3 was the first Dead Rising or just a completely new IP... But we're talking about what's technically the fourth game in the series if you're not counting Case West and Zero as a full game. These games are silly, sick, weird, strange, funny, colorful, rainbowish, blood, gore, and that. And this is just glim, gray, brown, like... I'm liking the idea of it being in a big city. That sounds nice. That sounds like a villain. It's kind of like State of Dead with Dead Rising. But the whole autistic aesthetic, that's what I want. The aesthetic design of how everything looks doesn't look like Dead Rising at all. It's just so alienating for someone who's played basically all but Case West. Case West is literally the only Dead Rising game I have not played. And, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I'm sure... Well, I guess maybe I ain't sure. I don't. Time can only tell the fate of Dead Rising 3. But I can certainly hope Capcom really decides to try, at least for a PC release, get it off the Xbox One, please, because it's the only thing right now that has the slightest chance of making me buy it. The only person who ever has a chance of getting me to buy that thing is the dude who made Deadly Premonition, because he's sadly making an exclusive game for that fucking thing too. Those things, get on PC. I don't care if you're on Steam or something. Just get on the damn PC. Just get off the Xbox One. I mean, good lord. I'm just so sad about that. But it does come out this year, so I guess there is that. But I've really came with the decision that with the Xbox One, I really don't think... I mean, it's going to be really lucky if I buy it the second year of its life. If at all, to be honest. I mean, I will probably get one eventually. But I really don't want to get anytime soon to illustrate how stupid the original decision is. Because they need to see this thing hurt like fucking hard and get in their heads to not do this shit. But Dead Rising 3 looks like it's just spiraling completely away from what the game series was built with. It does not feel like it's going to be a traditional Dead Rising game. And sadly, I think it's going to suffer the Mega Man syndrome of its original creators leaving. After all, because remember, you gotta keep in mind, the creator of Mega Man created Dead Rising. He actually had to fucking, like, scapegoat Capcom into actually making it because they invested so much money, like, doing tests and shit and demos and crap with it. They were just like, we dumped so much money into this, we might as well make it into something. And they didn't even see, it's like, yeah, this ain't gonna work. And it's like a huge success in the West. Just huge, booming success. I don't really know why they want to take something and just fucking run into the ground. I really don't. Would Dead Rising 3 be successful? Who knows? Will it be good? It could be good still. I'm not saying it's going to be bad, but it certainly ain't looking like it's living to the series' standards. But it could still be a good game. Just get the fuck off the Xbox One. But anyway. Hopefully, since it is coming out in November, I believe, we'll probably see a lot more. And there might be chances for it to maybe try and recover and show that it's going to be more Dead Rising than what it seems. It has some good ideas. I really do like the running around the neighborhood thing, but I don't really like the fact that they're going to make cars very accessible. I mean, obviously in a realistic way, it makes sense. I mean, he's in a neighborhood, he's in a town, there are going to be cars everywhere. So I understand it's kind of hard to be like, oh, the car's broken. It's Alan Wake syndrome. The car's locked. The car's locked. The car's locked. It's like, And that would just simply be stupid, especially in a game that always likes to quote, like, it's like whip shit and kill zombies with it. So, and that could be why there's so many zombies war in the demo too, because the car still breaks, so who knows? Only time will tell more. But initially, I have to say I'm disappointed so far with it, really. I'm not saying it's going to suck. That's not what I'm saying at all. It just so it doesn't look like it's living to the series' standards so far. I mean, it's nice that the graphics look nicer, but I'm really disappointed it's not as colorfully weird and shit like all the other entries. I mean, it kind of misses that psychic strain. How do I want to put it? The kind of twisted psychic freaky feeling, I guess you could say. You know, kind of like Wob from Silent Hill, you know. He's just a cute little bunny who's going to murder you. You know, it was something disturbing about how it's colorful in a way. But, yeah, I guess that's just me. Anyway, I'd love to hear your opinions. I don't really know a whole lot of people like Dead Rising viewer-wise, or out of people who usually leave comments. So if I have any Dead Rising nuts out there, feel free to leave a comment. I'd love to hear what you think too. I mean, well, if you're a fan, I'm a fan, you know, let's talk a little about it. I love to talk about it. I don't really know a lot of people that like Dead Rising personally or as in a friend talky way, so you know. Anyway, leave a comment. Do you think it's going in a good direction, a bad direction? Do you think it's going to be good, bad? Do you hope the hell it's going to be on at least the PC instead of just the Xbox One? Please. Well, time can only tell. So next time, Kid West!